ready, Ms. Burnett?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The December 5th, 2023 Terrebonne Parish School District Board meeting is now called to order. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize two dignitaries we have in the room, our two councilmen, Mr. Carl Harding and Mr. Brian Pledger. Thank you guys for being here tonight. And now we will have a moment of silence for those employees that have passed from being among us.
Please have a moment of silence for the following individuals. Phyllis Lynn Elzey, retired school teacher and librarian. Teresa Babin, retired school teacher. Alfred E. Cooley, former Terrebonne Parish School Board member. Joanne Bourgeois, retired school teacher. Willie Mae Douglas, retired school food service technician. And Nathan Gilfu, retired school teacher. I'm also being told Miss Betty Wallace, school teacher, retired school teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Voisin. And now we'll have the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Hamden.
Dear God, thank you for giving all of us the opportunity to have this meeting tonight with fellow board members, parents, staff, and especially those from the Bayou Blue Elementary, Gibson, and Honduras school communities, who are all interested in the education of the children of Terrebonne Parish. As we come together this evening, guide us to make the business of our meeting reflective of your wisdom. Give life to the ideas of all who are here, and help us make decisions that will build a community that is a shining example of your inspiration, your goodness, and your truth. These things we pray through Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, please remember to turn your mics on when you're speaking. I'm still getting some calls that saying they can't hear you, and I know I'm guilty of that as well. So please try to remember to turn your mics on, because the people watching us at home cannot hear us if our mics are not on. Item number 5 on the agenda, approval of minutes of the school board meeting for October the 3rd. Oh, excuse me, I jumped.
Roll call.
Number 4, my apologies, Ms. Brunet, roll call. Let's make sure we're all here.
Mr. Michael Lagarde.
Here.
Mr. Gregory Harding.
Here.
Mr. Matthew Ford.
Here.
Mrs. Debbie Benoit.
Here.
Mr. Don Crowdis.
Here.
Mr. Clyde Hamner.
Here.
Mr. Roger Dale Dehart.
Here.
Dr. Maybelle Trahan.
Here.
And Mr. Dane Voisin.
Here.
Madam President, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 5, approval of minutes of the school board meeting of October 3rd, 2023, and November 7th, 2023. The recommendation is that the board approve the minutes of the school board meetings of October 3rd, 2023, and November 7th, 2023, as recorded. Moved by Mr. Voisin,
Second.
second by Mr. Hamner. Any public comment? Mr. Voisin? Mr. Hamner?
None.
Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Item number 6, meeting announcements. On December 7th, there will be at 4:30 p.m., there is an ERC meeting, Employee Representative Committee. On December 19th at 5 o'clock, we have our committee meetings in the following order: Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Executive Committee, Building, Food Service, and Transportation Committee, Education, Technology, and Policy Committee, and followed at the end of the special school board meeting. On the 20th of December to the 2nd of January, the schools will be closed for Christmas holidays. On January 3rd, students and employees return to school. On the 9th There will be our regular school board meeting at 6 p.m. That's January the 9th, 2024. God, where has time gone, huh? 2024, it's crazy. Item number 7, board committee meeting reports. We'll begin with education, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Benoit.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan. The Education, Technology, and Policy Committee met at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 14th in the boardroom. Present were myself as chairman, Mr. Matthew Ford as vice chair, Mr. Don Crowdis as member. Also in attendance was Dr. Trahan, Mr. Dane Voisin, Mr. Clyde Hamner, Mr. Roger Dale Dehart, Mr. Michael Lagarde, Mr. Gregory Harding, Superintendent Bubba Ogeron, and members of the staff. There were no recommendations at this meeting, only presentations, and they were the following. Ms. Kim Vogtland, Supervisor of Middle, Junior, and High Education, introduced Christy Landry, Director of BioSTEM, which she provided some information to us on the BioSTEM program that also impacts Terrebonne Parish Schools. Next, we had Mr. Crowdis committee member presented information on the LifeVac system. Ms. Sandra LaRose, Chief Academic Officer, presented information on new items located on the Terrebonne Parish School District website. Mr. Alton Johnson, Supervisor of Elementary Education, presented an updated information on principals meetings that are data-driven. And Mr. Darrell Dillard, Supervisor of Secondary Education, presented the results of the 2023 Louisiana Showcase of Marching Bands. And each one of our high schools, Ellender, H.L. Bourgeois, South Terrebonne, and Terrebonne High, all had high placements in those competitions, and we're very proud of those schools. Lastly, Ms. Sharon DeGrees, Supervisor of Federal Programs, presented information on the Indian, Migrant, and McKinney-Vento programs. There being no further business, the meeting ended at 5:56 p.m. and I
Thank you,
turned it
Ms.
back to you.
Benoit.
Thank you.
Item B,
Madam President, we need a motion to accept the report in its entirety.
we need a motion since
I'll
you
move
didn't
we
have a
accept the report as
recommendation.
presented by Ms. Benoit in its entirety.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Hamner and second by Mr. Ford. Any public comment? Mr. Hamner?
None.
Mr. Ford? Any committee members or any board members? Hearing none, so moved.
Thank you so much, Ms. Benoit. Ms. Benoit. So item B is next on the agenda for the next report from our committee, Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands, from Mr. Hamner.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan. The Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday, November 14th, 2023, in the boardroom of the School Board office with the following members present. Myself, Chairman, Mr. Mike Lagarde, Vice Chairman, and Mr. Roger Dale Dehart, Committee Member. Also in attendance were Dr. Trahan, Mr. Voisin, Ms. Benoit, Mr. Ford, Mr. Crowdis, Mr. Harding, Superintendent Orgeron, and members of the staff. Recommendation number 1, the committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the resolution as presented, granting the request by Bollinger Shipyards, Homa LLC, in its participation in the Industrial Tax Exemption Program. Moved by Mr. Dehart and seconded by Mr. Crowdis. Any comments from the general public? Come up to the mic.
I just have one comment to make on that.
Yeah, you have to mention your name.
My name is
and
Stephanie
address, please.
Reberg. My address is 103 Oak Street in Donner, Louisiana. My only comment to make on this particular item is that I'm curious, or why are we granting a tax break to a large company in Homa when we are considering closing 2 schools that is due to funding? So if we need more funding, why would we take less funding from a business that can afford it? That's my only comment on that.
That's a question, not a comment.
Okay, well, if someone wants to answer the question, that would be great.
You don't answer.
The comment section is not a question and answer period. It's
Okay.
only to hear your comments.
So my comment is I don't think that we should be doing that if we're closing 2 schools, or 3, I'm sorry, 3 schools due to funding. I don't see that as a productive use of funds.
Thank you.
He wants to make a comment.
Let me finish with the public. All right. Anybody else from the public wish to comment on this motion? Okay.
We have Mr. Cohen Geeter from TINA that can maybe
Mr.
speak on this.
Mr. Guidry would like to speak on the motion?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen of the school board, my name's Cohen Guidry. I'm the CEO for Terrebonne Economic Development Authority. And we do get questions from time to time because I think it's a little more than people understand. So on this current ITEP, there is, so that's for the industrial tax exemption program. Bollinger of Homa spent and put out $2.6 million in improvements for machinery, equipment, building, and materials. So with that, they're asking for a tax exemption on their ad valorem tax, which would be 15%. Mind you that they do pay sales tax of 5.5% on that amount. And the school board receives 2.58% of that 5.5% school tax. So the exemption that they're going to get for a 5-year period comes to $204.47 per month based on 5 years. So that's what it, and the sales tax that they paid was $145,451. Of that, Terrebonne Parish School Board will receive $68,000 as their portion. That's about $1,137 per month.
How much per month, sir?
$1,137.16 per month, and they're getting a tax exemption of $204 per month. Any questions?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Do you have how much money that the government, the local government receives?
Yes, sir. They receive the remainder of the 2.58% that pays you. So the sales tax is 5.5% based on that. So again, with that, for each job that they're required, this ITEP doesn't just forgive them of a nominal amount. They have to keep a certain head count, which is 214, and they have to add 4 new jobs. And what they base it on, the calculation, is 1 new job has a $1,200 amount of direct tax impact to the local economy, which will support roughly 4 retail jobs as they pay it back in, which is to the amount of $156,000 in annual wages. So it's got 1 new job created is $3,120 of tax impact back into the economy.
Ms. Trahan?
So if you put all that together, it's a win for the school board and the parish council.
We believe so, ma'am.
Okay.
Community.
Any other questions for Mr. Cohen, or any comments from any board members? Any objection to the motion? Oh, Mr.
To make it
DeHart.
a motion or the second?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You-
Go ahead.
Okay. Since I made the motion, I'd like to clarify my stand on it. All of us in Terrebonne Parish, all the years I've served here, need to attract businesses. The amount of employees that come in and out of our parish every day, they buy fuel, they buy food, they buy all kind of things. So that's a lot more revenue than what you just stated.
Yes, sir.
That Terrebonne Parish has. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if we didn't attract the businesses here, they'd go somewhere else. And some of those people move from one place to another and come in our school system. I'm not saying every employee has a child that's in school age, but in the years past, we have seen the data that provided those elements that really and truly help this parish grow. And we can't grow just on our tax base that we pay for property tax and sales tax as residents here. All of these businesses do bring in a lot more resources. So if you take the math and you add and subtract and come out, really and truly, you've given something to attract them here, but we also receive a lot in return. And that's the way I've digested it and researched it through the tax assessors and different things over the years. So I know it doesn't sound right for whatever reason y'all think, but I'm just saying, whenever you don't have businesses here, our families go work somewhere else, and then that's just more burden on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeHart. Mr. Crowdis is the second. Do you want to make any comments? Any other board members? Mr. Ford?
I'm not a big proponent of these things, but I am recusing myself from this. I have a no vote on this topic.
All right. Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes.
All right, thank you very much.
Recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the renewal of the contract for ink and toner cartridges from the Treehouse, P.O. Box 413, Norwood, Massachusetts, 02062, for a 12-month period beginning December 7, 2023, under the same terms and conditions.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Trahan, seconded by Mr. Voisin. Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Ms. Trahan?
No, sir.
Mr. Voisin? Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Recommendation number 3, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the renewal of the catalog contract for materials and supplies for teaching with Star Office World, P.O. Box 2954, Houma, Louisiana 70361, at the current terms and conditions for a period of 1 year beginning February 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. DeHart, seconded by Mr. Crowdis. Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Mr. DeHart.
I'd like to make a brief comment in favor of this recommendation. I researched that the terms and contract, keeping the same price. Inflation has hit every business in this company, and to have it at the current terms and contract, we always have to get quotes, and right now, the market is really showing that this would be a good asset for the school system, in my opinion. Thank you.
Who did the second? Mr. Crowdis, do you have any comments? Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing no objection, the motion passes. Recommendation number 4, the committee recommends that the board approve the following original budgets for the 23-24 fiscal year for Workmen's Compensation Fund, the Loss Fund, and Group Insurance Claims Fund.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Benoit, seconded by Mr. Lagarde. Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Ms. Benoit?
No, sir.
Mr. Lagarde?
No, sir.
Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Recommendation number 5, the committee recommends that the board approve the following revised budget for the 23-24 fiscal year for the 3/4 cent sales tax fund.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Benoit, seconded by Mr. Crowdis. Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Ms. Benoit?
No, sir.
Mr. Crowdis? Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Final item on the agenda was an update by Ms. Klingman on the monthly budget to actual comparison reports and the sales tax collections for the month. Madam Chairman, there be no further business to come before the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee. The meeting adjourned at 6:23 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Hamner. Item 7C, the Executive Committee report from November 14, 2023 meeting. Dear members of the board, the Executive Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee and the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee meeting on Tuesday, November 14, 2023, in the board meeting of the School Board Office with the following members present. Myself, President, Mr. Voisin, Vice President, and Mr. Michael Lagarde. Also in attendance were Mr. Hamner, Ms. Benoit, Mr. Ford, Mr. DeHart, Mr. Crowdis, Mr. Hardy, Mr. Ogeron, and members of his staff. The meeting was called to order. The executive committee examined and authorized payment of invoices for the current month, including supplemental payroll and travel expenses. There were no member concerns brought up at the meeting. Do I have a motion to accept this report? Motion by Mr. Voisin, second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Mr. Voisin, Ms. Benoit? Other board members? Any objections?
I object.
One objection by Mr. DeHart. Any additional objection? None, one objection, so ordered. We move on to item 7D on the agenda, Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee. Mr. Voisin.
Thank you, Madam President. The Building, Food Service, Transportation Committee report met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education Technology Policy Committee, Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee and Executive Committee on Tuesday, November 14, 2023, in the boardroom of the School Board office with the following members: myself as Chair, Mr. Harding, Vice Chair, Dr. Traham. Also in attendance were Mr. Hamner, Ms. Benoit, Mr. Ford, Mr. DeHart, Mr. Crowdis, Mr. Lagarde, Superintendent Ogeron, and members of his staff. Recommendation number 1, the committee recommends that the board approve the request of Houma Christian School to waive policy file E-1.6, use of facilities relative to the usage fee for Terrebonne High School's track for the 2024 track season, February 6, 2024 to May 2, 2024, for practices only on weekdays, provided that the necessary insurance, nonprofit status, and all other school board policy requirements are met, and approval is obtained from the school's principal. So move, Mr. Ford.
Second.
Second, Ms. Benoit. Any public comments? Mr. Ford?
Is Ms. Delgado here? I didn't see her. Okay, no, I have a question for her, but I'll get in touch with her myself.
Okay, sounds good. Ms. Benoit, any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications on meat and frozen items for the 23-24 spring session from Diamond Food Distributors, Inc., Jefferson, Louisiana, in the amount of $363,889.65, and Pond Food Corporation, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in the amount of $503,169.70, funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund. So move, Mr. Crowdis.
Second.
Second, Dr. Traha. Any public comments on this? Mr. Crowdis? Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 3, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications on canned and dry foods for the 23-24 spring session from Diamond Food Distributors, Inc., Jefferson, Louisiana, in the amount of $217,689.45. Pond Food Corporation, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in the amount of $251,087.13. And Forecom Solutions, Prairieville, Louisiana, in the amount of $37,169.50, funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund. So move, Mr. Crowdis. Second, Mr. Harding. Any public comments? Mr. Crowdis? Mr. Harding? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 4, the committee recommends that the board authorize the Child Nutrition Department to advertise for bids for kitchen equipment, funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund.
So moved.
So moved, Ms. Benoit.
Second.
Second, Mr. DeHart. Any public comments? Ms. Benoit?
No, sir.
Mr. DeHart?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other, any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 5, the committee recommends that the board reject all bids received for the utility storage shed bid in response to Hurricane Ida due to the first low bid being declared non-responsive and the second low bidder withdrawing their bid, and further authorize the purchasing department to re-advertise the bid.
So moved.
So move, Mr. DeHart. Second, Mr. Harding. Any public comments? Mr. DeHart?
No, sir. Thank
Mr. Harding? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 6, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received meeting all specifications for site improvements for the Acadian Elementary Modular Building Project in response to Hurricane Ida from TBT Contracting, Inc. of Louisiana, P.O. Box 190, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70302, in the amount of $480,100, and establish a total project budget in the amount of $535,452. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $481,906.80, and local funds, $43,545.20.
53.
53.
53,000, thank you. $53,545.20, correct. Pending receipt of all necessary documents and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. Moved by Dr. Traha. Second, Mr. Crowdis. Any public comments? Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Mr. Crowdis? Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 7, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the demolition project in response to Hurricane Ida at Grand Caillou Elementary School from Abear Farm and Land Demolition, LLC, 1319 Highway 55, Montague, Louisiana, 70377, in the amount of $240,000. Accept alternate number 1 to demolish cafeteria building at Old Grand Caillou Elementary School in the amount of $46,000, and establish a total project budget in the amount of $320,528. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $242,074.80, and local funds, $78,453.20, pending receipt of all necessary documents, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Dehart. Second, Ms. Benoit. Any public comments? Mr. Dehart?
No, sir, thank you.
Ms. Benoit? Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 8, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the substantial completion dated October 14, 2023 for the security improvements at Acadian Elementary, Broadmoor Elementary, Elysian Fields Elementary, Honduras Elementary, and Oak Lawn Middle Schools. Subject to the punch list, upon completion of the punch list and final inspection, balancing change order, and receipt of the lien-free certificate, authorize the release of retainage, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Crowdis. Second, Dr. Traha. Any public comments? Mr. Crowdis? Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. The superintendent addressed the committee on consideration of approval of property located in St. Charles Parish, St. Charles Street, sorry. We had the project managers address the board and architects to give us progress on our buildings. There being no further business to come before the BFT committee, the meeting was adjourned at 8:23. I turn it back over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Voisin. Item 8 on tonight's agenda is the superintendent's agenda. Mr. Oshron.
Okay, item 8A1 is a resolution declaring January 2024 as local school board member recognition. The recommendation is that the board approve the following resolution recognizing January 2024 as local school board member recognition month in the state of Louisiana.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Hamner.
Actually, unanimous second.
Unanimous second? Very good. Any public comment? Mr. Hamner? Anyone, any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Good? You want to read it? That's good.
Would you like me to?
Okay, item 2. Okay, item 2, I'll read the recommendation, and after I read the recommendation, I'd like to do a presentation to further clarify some of the phases of this recommendation, if that's okay with you, Madam President?
Yes, sir, of
and
course it
board.
is.
Okay, number 2, matter pertaining to schools consolidations. The recommendation is that the board approve and accept this all-in-one proposal as presented for the consolidation of Bayou Black Elementary School, zones 36C and 37C with Mulberry Elementary at the Mulberry Elementary School site, and Bayou Black Elementary School, zones 36D, 37D, 36E, and 37E with Schriever Elementary, pre-K 3, and Caldwell Middle, grades 4 to 6 at the Schriever Elementary and Caldwell Middle School sites. Consolidation of Gibson Elementary School with Schriever Elementary, pre-K 3, and Caldwell Middle, grades 4 to 6 at the Schriever Elementary and Caldwell Middle School sites. And consolidation of Honduras Elementary School, zones 28D, 29B, and 29C with Village East Elementary at the Village East Elementary School site, and Honduras Elementary School zones 27C, 28C, and 30D with Acadian Elementary at Acadian Elementary School site, effective with the 2024-2025 school year. So what I'd like to do is to this screen to everyone's right, pardon that we don't have screens on both sides, I'll run through a presentation. Myself, our Director of Human Resources and our Chief Academic Officer will present information relative to this restructuring plan. So this plan was developed because of a response to two problems. Problem number one is this. Our current enrollment, all of these numbers are give or take a few kids because we fluctuate every day. But when this was taken, we had 15,028 students in Terrebonne Parish. That's this school year. 5 years ago and 10 years ago, in 2019-20 and 2013-2014, our enrollment in 2019-20 was 17,188. That's a decline of 2,160 students, which is 12% of that enrollment. In 5 years, we've declined 12%. Number two is 10 years ago, we were at 18,827 students. That's a decline of 3,799 students, which is 20% of the enrollment less in 10 years. That's a problem. MFP is called, it stands for Minimum Foundation Program, which is how we're funded from the state. It's over a third of our revenues is through MFP. We get approximately, not approximately, but right at $4,015 per student. Okay? When you're down 12%, that's less $8,672,400 in your general fund, in your revenues, in 5 years. In 10 years, that's 15,000 less, 15,257,000 less in 10 years to our general revenues. Okay? As a board, as a superintendent, we've got to look at these numbers and respond operationally. Okay? Problem one. Here's some of the results of declining enrollment. As I mentioned, MFP funding decreases drastically. We have small schools, 138, 140, 145, whatever it is around that, 154, 155, somewhere around that is the size of some of our schools now. We have small class sizes, as low as 14 in a class. Average for the whole school, about 17 kids. Another result is this. We have empty classrooms in, these are just a sampling of schools. Schriever, 18 empty rooms. Caldwell, and this is information I got directly from the principals. Okay? Caldwell, Mr. Bergeron checked, 20 available classrooms at Caldwell. Oaklawn, 8. Mulberry, 9. Village East, 8. Oakshire, 8. Lisa Park, 7. Homer Junior High, 11. I put all others in there just to give you an idea that this is happening when enrollment declines. Problem two. We have a teacher shortage, a shortage of certified, qualified teachers. And I believe this wholeheartedly. Teachers are the most important factor in student success. bar none. It's not about a building, a program, technology. It's the quality of teacher in the classroom that makes the biggest impact, bar none. I put this slide here because this shortage of teachers is not unique to Terrebonne Parish. Nationally, 55% of teachers are thinking about leaving early retirement, and more importantly, they're not even coming into the profession. We've got to respond. If that is truly a factor we believe in, we have to respond. I'd like you to know, because while I went out and talked in the communities, I heard this said, so I'd like to call on our Human Resources Director, Dr. Deborah Yarbrough, to talk about how have we responded? Why is this where we're going? What can we do, or what have we already done? I'd like you to kind of just know that we've tried, and we're trying, and we're doing a lot of things. So Dr. Yarbrough, at this time, please share with us, what are we doing to keep certified people and get certified people?
Okay, some of the things that we've done over the years to recruit certified teachers, all the universities across Louisiana hold recruitments, usually in the fall and in the spring, for seniors that are getting out in education. But that number has declined, so much so that now every district is not invited to the recruitments in the fall and in the spring. The one place that Terrebonne Parish can depend upon to go to recruitment for the fall and the spring is Nichols University, because it's in our community. We used to go to Southeastern. Well, now in the spring or in the fall, Southeastern is only inviting St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Livingston parishes, those parishes that, you know, the community in which they serve. And that all of this is because the number of students graduating in education is no longer there. It is becoming less and less each year. Some of the things that we have done to help with recruiting certified teachers is, last year I was able to get a grant from the State Department, around $50,000, to work with the New Teacher Project. And some of the things that they did, they came in and they worked with our administrators on new ideas of how they can recruit people, how they can value the people that they already have, and how they can use their Facebook pages or their web page in order to recruit people, invite people to come into their schools, and also how to retain teachers through providing professional development for them. Another program that we have had to depend upon is our resident teachers. Now, student teachers spend one full year in a classroom, rather than at one time, one semester, and that was it. But now they have to spend a whole year. We have been fortunate enough that once we get these resident teachers, to keep them in our district. So if we get about 10 or 12 in the fall and 10 or 12 in the spring, that's 20-some teachers that we're able to get. And what we do for those teachers to encourage them to stay with us is that because they have been in that classroom for a whole year, developing lessons, teaching lessons, doing everything that that mentor teacher is doing, we credit them 1 year of service rather than starting them off at zero pay. We give them that 1 year because they have been with us, and fortunately the majority of them stay with us. We tried salary supplements. We had a 5% permanent salary. For new teachers, when we hire new teachers, at the beginning of the school year, we pay those teachers a stipend to come 3 days before school starts for professional development. So those teachers average around almost $700 for those 3 days, which they really appreciate. And so that has been one thing that we have done also. Our paraprofessionals, We have about 20 paraprofessionals right now in a program with Reach University. And what Reach University does is that they provide teachers, provide paras with training to become a teacher. Now, they do not graduate with a degree in education, but they graduate with a degree, and while they're working on this, they take the praxis and all that Louisiana requires so that when they finish, they can get into the alt-cert program for teaching. Those paras that have at least an associate degree, 2 years, they could have that 4-year degree. And how it works is that part of their classwork is what they do every day in the classes. So they're utilizing what they're doing every day with the teachers and the students in those classrooms as part of that program, and so they can finish in 2 years. Those that who do not have the associate degree, they can finish in 4 years. It's an online program. It's several hours during the week. It's accessible to them. That program costs, because there's a grant that Reach University obtained, it costs them $75 to enter this program. Over the 4 years that they may spend, it may be $900. And so we provide a supplement to these paras when they've been in the program and it is determined that they are successful and they're committed to it. So we give them a stipend that helps them with that program. And I must say, we have some that are very successful in it right now. Non-certified teachers. We know that we have an abundance of non-certified teachers. And so what we do with those teachers, we provide guidance for them, we provide mentor teachers for them, we try to direct them to the alternative programs where they can be successful. A lot of them will go through Nichols if they want to earn a master's degree while they are becoming certified. We have the iTeach program. We have LRCE in Baton Rouge. We have Northwestern, LSU. We even have teachers, from all over different universities, some out of state. It depends on what they choose to do. And so all of them have to take praxis exams. And so we reimburse them for the praxis exams that they take in order to become certified. We also provide some assistance with tuition. The district cannot afford to pay full tuition, but we do give them so much depending on the number of hours that they take. We allow them to take 6 hours in the fall, 6 hours in the spring, and 9 hours in the summer. And this has really been a help to them, and not only for those who are just becoming certified, but also for those who are working on a master's degree or some other type of certification. So these are the many things that we have done and continue to do in this district, and yet we still fall short. So our work is still there for us to get as many certified teachers in the district as we possibly can.
Thank you, Doc. So the question is this: we have two very clear problems, and clearly, as she said, we're doing a lot of things already that haven't filled the gap. So do we just keep doing what we've done and hope that it remedies itself, or do we respond with solutions? So I'll present to you a plan. It's a 3-part plan. Part 1 is facilities. Okay? The first part of the plan is a consolidation of schools, and the consolidation, and I've met with each school in this community, in Gibson, Gibson, Bayou Black, and Honduras. So Gibson will merge with Schriever Elementary, the pre-K 3, and Caldwell Elementary, the 4th to the 6th grade for the 24-25 school year. Bayou Black Elementary has 6 zones. I'll show you a map in just a second. 6 school zones in Bayou Black school zone. 4 of the zones actually go to H.L. Bourgeois. And there are 2 of the zones in Bayou Black that go to Terrebonne High. That dividing line is Savan Road. The kids who go to Bourgeois, we're recommending that they merge with Schriever Elementary, the pre-K 3, and Caldwell Middle, the 4, 5, and 6 graders. The THS zone, the Terrebonne High zone, to merge with Mulberry for the 24-25 school year. This is the Bayou Black zone map. So the red line is practically Savan. So these zones here are Schriever. So these 4 zones would go with these kids to Schriever. Okay? These 2 zones of Bayou Black are adjacent to Mulberry zones. They would go to Mulberry and eventually Houma Junior High, Terrebonne High. Okay? Let's talk about this, because this was brought up in one of the meetings. This plan has nothing to do with strengthening one school or making one school follow the expectations of another group. That has really no determination on why these schools were chosen. Although, in past consolidations, the performance of the consolidated school rose higher than the 2 that formed it from the beginning. That's just what happens. I can give you anecdotally why I think that, but that's beside the point. I just want to talk about these schools here. Schriever. We have teachers from Schriever in this room tonight. It's a C school with an A in progress. Let me explain that real quick. A school gets 2 grades, 2 letters. One is the school SPS, school performance score. The other one is the progress score, which is an indicator of how far kids grow while they're at that school. It's how much progress they make. It's a very important score. Schriever is an A in progress. Now let me share a couple other things with Schriever. They've got a little asterisk and a little triangle mark here. Well, that asterisk ties into this category here, which is a state honor. It's called Top Gains Honoree. What that means is that it's an A in progress, which is a 90, and none of the subgroups, which we have 3 major subgroups: students with significant disabilities, economically disadvantaged, and English language learners. That are the 3 subgroups. None of them are in urgent intervention required status, which means they're moving all groups of kids, not just this group, that group, or all kids are moving in the progress at Schriever. It's a great distinction. It's also an opportunity honoree school, which means this: Schriever is outperforming 90% of all schools in Louisiana in the various subgroups. They're moving kids further along than 90% of the schools. It's not my award, it's the state's award. That's what Schriever has earned. So thank you, Schriever teachers. Y'all have done a great job. And I know this, I know you care about kids. There's no way that happens if you don't care about kids. Number 2, Caldwell is a B school with an A in progress as well. Okay? Bayou Black is a B school. It grew from a C to a B. We're very proud of them with an A in progress. Bayou Black is also a Top Gains honoree. Very great distinction. Bayou Black is also, not on this chart, a Blue Ribbon award-winning school. Great honor. Gibson is a C school with a B in progress. And Mulberry is an A school with an A in progress, and they're also a Top Gains honoree school and also an opportunity honoree school. I share that with you because all of these schools are really good schools. There's no doubt about it. If the pattern continues and consists as it has in the past, these good schools are going to merge and become even better. We believe that. Believe that. Next one. Honduras Elementary. What we're attempting to do on the east side initially is have consistent grade level configurations at all of our schools, meaning this: we want schools to either fall into the pre-K 4 category, the 5 to 8 category, or the 9 to 12 category. A true elementary, a true middle, and a true high. We don't have that right now in a lot of our schools. We're attempting to do that on the east side. The only school left not fitting that pattern is Village East. It's pre-K 6. Okay? What we'd like to do is take the 5th and 6th grade, move those students to Oak Lawn. We have Oak Lawn's principal here. We've had lengthy discussions about all this. Can he fit them? The answer is yes to all of that. Does it make sense? Yes. Village East will become a pre-K 4. Earlier I showed you they had 8 empty classrooms. When 5th and 6th grade vacate, they'll have 12 empty classrooms. We have room. So the proposal is to merge Honduras Elementary with Acadian and Village East on the east side. Let me share this with you. This is what it would look like. Honduras has 6, just like Bayou Black, 6 school zones. The ones in red, which are right along Main Street, would go to Village East. It's about 4 miles or so, give or take. And the other 3 zones would go to Acadian. Okay? Let's talk about these schools. I think it's very important. We're very proud of Honduras. They've been growing tremendously. They're a B school with an A in progress. They're also, as you see, a top gains honoree and an opportunity honoree. Very proud of them. Acadian is a B with an A in progress. They're top gains honoree, they're opportunity honoree, and I think this is very important. They're the highest progressing school in Terrebonne Parish, Acadian Elementary. My point in saying is they're both good schools. Village East, it's a C with an A in progress. They're top gains. And a very important distinction they had 2022. They were called a comeback campus, one of 40 schools in the state in both ELA and math, which meant they grew kids tremendously well in both subjects to be the comeback campus. And we have roughly 1,300, 1,400 schools in Louisiana, one of 40. These are 3 good schools. Really good schools. Why consolidate? I'd like to ask our Chief Academic Officer, what are the benefits of consolidating? There are benefits outside of money and outside of other things, and I'd like her to go through some of the things that we've put together for you.
Good evening. Why consolidate? We carefully considered the specific circumstances of our communities, and we're aware of the aging buildings, and we're also aware of the decreasing numbers of students in Terrebonne Parish. So as an answer to some of our problems, we asked ourselves, why consolidate? And these are the 3 things that came up over and over again on what we can do to benefit students in our district. We don't only want to address students, we want to talk about how consolidation affects teachers and how it affects communities on the benefit side. We're going to talk about students first, and these are the 3 areas that we're going to focus on. We have got to provide a decrease in the opportunity gaps that exist in our district. And what we mean by opportunity gaps is larger schools have a larger population of teachers who can volunteer to do those extracurricular clubs like Beta, Axe Club, robotics, 4-H, because it's teachers who volunteer to do those programs either on their free time during the day, like recess, or after school. It's very difficult for our smaller schools to provide those opportunities to our students. Also, we would like to help to close achievement gaps. When you have 1 teacher or even 2 teachers at each grade level, it's very difficult when you're talking about doing specific student interventions to address the specific skills of students where they need it in a timely manner. When you have a larger school with more teachers at a grade level, you can cross through the grade levels and have teacher A address this group of kids while teacher B is doing a totally different skill. We keep those groups fluid, and as children progress, we move them to another group. You can even go across grade levels, where if a first grade child is performing at a kindergarten level, you can service them with other students who have the same needs. And we call those the achievement gaps. And then the last thing that we want to address with students is flexibility with schedules. At our smaller schools, we have some of our grade levels that are forced to have teachers who teach multiple grade levels. And those teachers may teach 4th, 5th, and 6th grade ELA, or 4th, 5th, and 6th grade math. Well, we know as educators that when you have a child that you have identified a weakness, you have to figure out what time of the day is that child's time of the day to learn. So if my weakness is reading, and I'm learning better in the morning when I'm fresh, you can make sure that that child receives reading instruction in the morning. With our larger schools, administrators strategically place students in specific classes. It can be due to their academic needs, it can be personalities, it can be their needs that they need for their interventions. For our smaller schools, we as administrators don't have that choice. It's one teacher, one class that the child has to be put into. So with that, we move on to the benefits for teachers. Teachers need to be experts in their craft. And when you have teachers teaching multiple subjects, it is very difficult to truly say that you are an expert in the standards of multiple grades and multiple subjects. So we want our teachers in grades 3 to 8 to be able to focus on the content and be true masters of their craft. We also want to give teachers an opportunity to collaborate. I mean, that's what life is all about. When we have a problem, we get together. We talk it out. We talk about the benefits of something. We talk about other options. We need our teachers to be able to collaborate with their peers to say, why were your scores so much higher than mine? What did you do to address the needs of those students? What's something I can do? They can get together to plan lesson plans and put 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 heads together instead of one. So when we have larger schools with a higher population of teachers, they have people to do that with. We also have our professional development opportunities. We can tailor the needs of our teachers when you're in larger schools. If you have 30 or 40 people working in your school, you can have groups of 8 or 10 and have different types of professional development on staff development days. If you only have 7 or 8 teachers, you're not going to put a teacher in a room by themselves with a presenter for staff development. So we can definitely tailor the needs of our teachers better in a little larger environment. And then we've already discussed this one, but an increased opportunity for certified teachers. We can make sure that we're putting as many certified teachers as we can in front of the students for their academic achievement. If you focus on the community, it is very glaring that early student and community cohesion leads to students who are not going to junior high school at the most difficult age in their lives, the most awkward age. They're not being forced into a junior high school, and then we're not seeing the problems of them getting along and accepting each other, because at a younger age, children just tend to accept each other, play together, and mingle together. There is obviously a cost savings when you merge schools, because you don't need all of the duplicate positions. You don't need 2 administrations. You don't need 2 sets of custodians, 2 secretaries, 2 sets of cafeteria workers. So although that is not what is in the forefront, it is a byproduct of consolidating schools. And with that money, we can improve facilities. How? You combine resources that were being spent in 2 schools, you put that together, and then we can provide the best environment for our kids and provide the highest levels of academic achievement. And we truly believe that together we can do this for our children.
Okay. Phase two, part two of the plan is personnel.
Call to order. I don't see where this falls in line with the actual agenda item we have on hand. And we still haven't had a movement or a second. So I think that needs to happen before we go any further.
We had that conversation with council before the meeting, sir, and we had those points clarified.
Let me, if it's okay with the chair, I'd like to wrap up. I can speed through some of this. That's right. Let me talk about this. Ms. LaRose just said there's a cost savings. We want to take all of that cost savings that will be recurring costs, and although it's not part of this motion, it's part of the plan. And we want to give that to our employees in the form of this. And I want to ask these questions. Are our employees worth it? Will this assist us with what Dr. Yarbrough talked about, recruiting and retaining teachers? I believe it will, because teachers have told me that makes a difference. And who will this ultimately benefit? The kids.
Order.
The kids. Next thing. Houma Terrebonne Chamber of Commerce. I presented this plan to the various schools involved. I presented it to ERC, which is Employee Representative Committee, multiple times, various groups of students. I presented it to the chamber. Allowed them to ask a myriad of questions. Just pick through this whole plan very thoroughly. After the presentation and the question and answer period, they said, we'd like to endorse this plan. I'd like to read this letter. Bear with me. The Houma Terrebonne Chamber of Commerce represents more than 600 member companies and organizations with over 22,000 employees. Many of these employees are residents of Terrebonne Parish with school-aged children. The Chamber and its members have been actively involved in supporting our local school system and improving the quality of life for our residents for over 105 years. The Houma Terrebonne Chamber of Commerce is, in partnership with the Terrebonne Parish School District, was instrumental in developing a 13-point education plan in which one of the points was in support of the development of a well-defined long-term master plan for Terrebonne Parish schools. The master plan was developed by a task force with several representatives from the chamber and other community businesses and organizations. In this master plan, there were several recommendations to consolidate schools due to inefficiencies, population decline, and aging facilities. The Houma Terrebonne Chamber of Commerce supports Superintendent Bubba Ogeron's restructure plan to improve education in the Terrebonne Parish School District. The Chamber is in support of the consolidation of schools to improve efficiency and the education environment for students and teachers with consolidation of schools, the superintendent's plan will propose a 10% teacher pay raise, which will retain and recruit highly qualified teachers to teach in Terrebonne Parish. Sincerely yours, Nicholas Hebert, Chairman. Next thing, I've been asked, is this legal? Very relevant to this conversation. Talked with counsel, they referred me to revised statute 17:81. You can't read it, but I'll read it. It says, in that red box at the bottom, each local public school board shall determine the number of schools to be opened, the location of school houses, and the number of teachers and other school personnel to be employed. Revised statute 17:81. And I want to conclude with this. As I said, I met with various groups. One teacher asked me in one of our meetings, says, why so many pieces? Why all at once? I'll tell you why. I believe in public education. I believe in its impact on an entire parish and the impact in the lives of every student. Wholeheartedly. I also believe this. I believe the most important factor in a student's success is the quality of the teacher. Highly trained, dedicated, loving kids. That is bar none the most important factor. I believe this. When that doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen in some cases, kids suffer. Kids develop learning gaps. And we've heard from COVID. What did we learn? We learned a lot of things. One thing educationally we learned, when kids don't receive instruction, there are learning gaps that we struggle to close for years to come. It's a reality. The same thing happens when there's a teacher who's ineffective, not skilled, not trained. We have that. We've got to fix that for all kids. So why all of a sudden? Because there's an urgency for me. So it is for me because I'm for the kids. It's urgent. And when I say it's urgent, the results are long-lasting. They'll last forever. It'll affect a kid for the rest of his or her life when there are learning gaps. It's my job to be their advocate, their voice, so that we don't develop learning gaps and we fix major problems that are going to benefit kids for a long time to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
So moved.
Do I have a
So
motion?
moved.
So moved, Mr. Ford. Do I have a second? Second by whom? Mr. Crowders. We will now have our public comment on the agenda item. Oh, yes, yes. Before we do that, I'd like to remind everyone that we have to ensure that we have the opportunity to proceed in an orderly manner and an opportunity to hear the speakers, whether that speaker is a citizen or a board member. A few points to remember. We will maintain civil demeanor. We will follow established parliamentary procedures as per board policy. Public comments are just that. They're not question and answer periods. The presiding officer will direct citizens to the lectern. When a citizen comes up to speak, please clearly give your name and home address so that the secretary can document such. You will have a maximum of 3 minutes to present your comments as per board policy. An alarm will sound when your 3 minutes are up. Anyone wish to comment? Sir.
Madam Chairperson, I'm losing my voice. I need to do some things before I get started. Would you allow that to happen? I need to give each member, board members.
That will be part of your 3 minutes, sir.
That would be part of my 3 minutes? Yeah. Well, God the Lord.
It's already started, sir.
Oh, okay, well, whoo, boy. Okay, my 3 minutes already started. Let me see what I can do in this period of time.
Mr. Johnson, I know you, we know you, but state your name and address for the record.
Okay, Horace Johnson, my address is 5562 North Bayou Black Drive, Gibson, Louisiana, 70356. I stand before the school board tonight, brokenhearted, to be honest, and I know I ain't got much more time to try to express that, but here, I just want to get down into it. It got a double standard going on here right now, and I'm so surprised. But let me get to that. When it comes to the community, here's what we was given in the community. And the reason why I point that out right quick, because this merge was all about facilitating strategy from the task force. I don't see that sort of on the agenda, but however, the reason why that I want to stick to what was brought to us is because I got some issues, and I'm going to get to it right quick before I lose my time. We have been misled again. We have been, here's the deal. The deal is they had this task force. And this task force that was formed, Mr. Bubba, Miss Maybell, Miss Debbie, Mr. Hammond. That was on the task force. I heard him reading a letter from the chamber. The chamber was on the task force. All of a sudden now that this program that we're talking about, I don't have time to really do what I need to do with it because I want to prove some exhibit. Here's the task force strategy. Here's the name to the task force, which is Horace Johnson Exhibit. A here, Horace Johnson Exhibit as evident. B here, Horace Johnson Exhibit C as evidence by whatever comments Mr. Bubba had at that time by Bayou Black and Gibson. But the most important thing that was said in that task force meeting, now one time it was said to close Gibson, Bayou Black. It was recommended that it be investigated, 2 old 100-year school at the Greenwood Miller School. And that's what that task force came with. Now tonight we getting something else, but it does look like what we had, but it got some different language. So I don't know which one it is, but here's my closing. My closing is that
3 minutes have ended, sir.
Could I give him my 3 minutes? I'd like to give him 3 more minutes. You getting 3 more minutes?
According to council, sir, minutes, the 3-minute maximum is solid in our board meeting. We cannot give another 3 minutes.
Sir, you done done it before.
I know we did, but I was corrected. I'll get Mr. Stan to explain that.
You done done it in minute meetings.
yeah.
No, your policy states that one person shall only get 3 minutes.
And no exemption to it? Got no exemption? No exemption. There's no exemption. Okay. Ooh. So I'm done, you right? Before I leave this podium, I asked to be on the agenda, and I got rejected from being on the agenda, because if I'd have been on the agenda, I could stand for the community.
Thank you,
and
sir.
be able to bring my plan, but 3 minutes.
Ma'am? Please state your name and address.
My name is Crystal Marks, 4812 North Bayou Black Drive. The point that Mr. Horace was trying to make was that the recommendation from the task force that was in black and white said that the task force recommended that Gibson is closed, Gibson Elementary and Bayou Black be closed and consolidated at Greenwoods Elementary School. However, when we asked Mr. Bubba, the first meeting, we asked him who was on the task force. He told us he did not know. Okay? Also, these meetings that he presented, if you're going to present a plan such as he's presenting to us, my question is, shouldn't there have been some type of public hearing? Or are you all governed by the Louisiana statute 4219 to put out to inform the public that this type of coming is going forward? Also, there's and also a plan such as this should have a display. We need to know exactly where these savings are coming from, exactly where the money is going to go to. Whether we need to know whether 2 million, 10 million, however many millions are going to be directly dedicated to teachers' salary. We need to know the cost savings that you're going to generate from closing Gibson, and Bayou Black School. We need to know the money was that long as Greenwood's been sitting there almost 10 years closed now. Of course, it was provided, it served Southdown students for 3 years. Okay, so my question would be, where did the money, the funds go while Green was sitting there, and we're not generating any funds? You're not consolidating schools. You're closing them. You're closing a community. You're killing a community. You're killing children. Our children are very well established when they leave the Bayou schools. You don't, would you like to live in a community where there are no schools? Any of you? Would you like to live there? Do any of you live in a community where there are no schools? Okay? You understand where we are coming from? I might be a little aggressive, but it's not aggression, it's passion. My children went there, and I have beautiful, beautiful, successful children, daughters. And they had wonderful teachers. You talk about the certification. Honduras had 100% certified teachers. You want to close that? Okay, thank you. I'm finished.
Let's give the speaker our attention, please. Their name and address.
Stephanie Reberg, 103 Oak Street, Donner, Louisiana, 70352. I'm going to start this off by, I understand that there is a problem in this community and this parish that we are trying to fix. I'm not oblivious to that. But like was stated, we had 1 or 2 issues that this could resolve, but I don't think we've realized the issues that it could cause in the meantime. We might resolve 1 or 2 issues, but we're now going to have issues, and my biggest one is transportation. And my point with transportation is currently I live less than 5 minutes from Gibson Elementary School. My 5-year-old daughter did not get home today on the bus until after 40 minutes of being on that bus. And we are 5 minutes from that school. And now you guys want to take my 5-year-old and send her even further away. We already have transportation issues. With that being said, something that hit home for me was that when my kids' father and I were going through our custody agreement for our children, the judge himself was willing to award one of us full custody because we live 45 minutes away from each other, and he did not deem that as acceptable for a child to be in a car over 2 hours every day just to get back and forth to school. But that is what you guys are proposing with closing our Bayou schools because of the length of transportation that it's going to take to get back and forth from Schriever to Gibson and vice versa. Not only that, but we already have such overcrowding in schools. We might have the buildings, the extra rooms you say, but if we have so many buildings at Schriever, why are we still having portables? Why are we still having to use portables there? How do we solve that? You're saying that we're going to save all this money by closing these schools, but we're taking these teachers and moving them to another. We might lose a little bit of our staffing as far as administration goes, but we're still having the same amount of teachers with the same amount of students. So how are we getting more students in front of certified teachers? We're taking the same students and the same teachers and just moving them to a different building. So how does that do that? You're taking away our kids and our time with our kids because we're waiting hours for them to come home, for us to be able to do things as parents, to take care of our kids, to do the extra things that they want to do because they're riding buses and doing all of that all day. Not only that, but something that Mr. DeHart said earlier, this bill that we passed earlier is bringing people into the community, right? We're bringing jobs in, and these people might have kids that are going to go into our community. So while we might be at a low now, if we're doing all of these other things to grow our communities, then we're going to grow our population of children and have schools that are closed, and then we're going to have to reopen schools again. We understand there's a fluctuation in population, but closing 3 schools because our population has dipped in the past 5 years, who's to say our population won't skyrocket in the next 5 years? And now we have the same issues where we have to open more schools.
Quick, fast with y'all. I got 3 minutes. See all them people right there
Your
on
name
them
and
walls?
address, sir.
My name. That's include my 4962 North Bayou Black Drive, Gibson, Louisiana 70. Ryan Bourgeois. See all them people right there? They fought for equal rights. The main thing I'm fighting for is equal. I want to be we equal to everybody else. Now you causing division between people that was equal. Now they being divided. All I want is our community to be our community. Dr. Martin Luther King fought for this, for all us to be equal. Why we can't be equal and respect all of us? We can merge Gibson and Bayou Black and relieve some of that pressure off of Marbury, put them down there, or relieve some of that pressure off of Shreve and Caldwell and put them down there. They talk about teachers. Our teachers was doing good, uncertified and certified. Our teachers learning. They learning, they teaching the kids. Then you got me all riled up because I only got 3 minutes. But all I want is equity. Equal. We equal to everybody else. When y'all go in y'all beds and y'all go in y'all houses, y'all children is equal to everybody else children. What make our children not equal? Why are we going to be a ghost town when y'all close down our schools? We already ate it when y'all closed down Greenwood. So now we about to eat it again. And Marbury always been Marbury. Shreve always been Shreve. Caldwell always been Caldwell. But Gibson is going to be a ghost town. Then the man said we getting more people into it. Why do that to us? All we doing is asking for mercy from y'all and come up with something logical, not illogical. Because y'all giving us no equalness to y'all. We dancing by y'all music already, so what we got to do, dance more? And then, you see, I want to use the value of my 3 minutes, but ma'am and sirs of the board, y'all kids are happy at y'all schools. Don't take our kids from our schools and tell their memory is down. They got one parent right here, right there with her kid. No, what she has, she got 2 little boys. I watch her every morning go to Bayou Black. I don't know if the kids are teachers or not, but they are so comfortable with going and see their teachers. And that's one person. I'm talking for the people that's not here. Some people don't have cars. So if they kids missed the bus, y'all going to already ban them for the 10 days they missed already. Then y'all gonna be hounding us saying, well, we can't do it. Gibson is already far enough. We don't even have no grocery stores. We got a dollar store. So please don't take the thing that's been in our community for decades. That's all we asking. We ain't asking nothing. And this sir, he coming up with some outrageous stuff. But all you got to do is join both of them together and relieve some of the pressure that's on. Like Marbury said, you got X amount of students. Relieve some of their pressure. We already got certified teachers. And the ones that's not certified, they doing a damn good job. Look, numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie, ma'am. And ma'am, I never was hostile with you, sir. But I just wanted to speak my feelings. Thank y'all very much.
Caitlin Bourgeois, 406 Hanson Drive. I was born and raised in Bayou Black. I was also raised to follow my heart, and I have to do what I have to do for my babies. They're worth more than $4,015 per head. It's Bayou Black Elementary School or it's homeschool for us. For my child, that would start school in 2 years to come as well. In the next half hour or so, our lives are going to change forever. The choice is in y'all hands tonight, if it's for the best or if it's for the worst. At Bayou Black, my son is taken out of the car every single morning, greeted good morning by his name. At Mulberry, he'll be treated as just another number. I've spent the last few weeks nonstop doing everything I physically could, and what I've done today is present you all with a petition I have put together that I have gathered from Bayou Black and Gibson community members' signatures with their addresses to present tonight, that I hope I can do some type of justice to show my dedication as a mother. I have each of you a copy printed and stapled of this petition. When it comes to Bayou Black and Gibson community, I could go on for days and the whys of why our community, but unfortunately I do not have enough time to do so. I was born and raised in Bayou Black, a small Bayou community. I personally attended Bayou Black as well as Greenwood, and I furthered my education at Home Junior High and Terrebonne. Bayou Black Elementary helped mold me into the adult I am today. It also made a very core memory in my heart and in my mind from that school. Although we do eventually separate due to the cutoff of Savan Road, I still have lifelong friends from Gibson to this day. Bayou Black School is truly a home. When you walk in, it's still the same environment as you remember from being such a small child. I temporarily left the Bayou for 2 years, and when my child turned 1, we made a move. I personally could not wait to walk the halls again and be a part of that school again. A year before his time came, Ida hit, and while driving through Gibson from evacuating, you could see the damages of all the homes. When I passed the school and seen the cafeteria, I cried and prayed that y'all would fix the cafeteria for his time to come. At that point, I could honestly say I was more concerned about that school than I was my own home. We did not have a cafeteria for 2 years, but we never complained. We don't ask for much or anything really. All I ask for today, without any previous favors, is for y'all to please just hear us out and hear our hearts and vote to save our schools.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Monteville. I'm with the Home of Terrebonne Chamber of Commerce. I'm the CEO. And you've read our letter. We have a 20-member board, and we're in support of Superintendent Orgeron's consolidation and restructure plan. We focus on all the Terrebonne Parish and the community. So it's not just one community, it's the whole parish. And so we feel that the school system will benefit overall with this restructure plan. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kristen Odima. My address is 6313 Mary Street of Gibson. Sorry, I'm really nervous. Set alarm for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I set your alarm for 7:29 p.m.
First, I want to start out by saying thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak. Thank you for considering everything and making this proposal, sir. I know you spent a lot of time on it, and I'm sorry that people are met with anger. However, that anger usually comes from fear, and the fear is not unfounded. Just want to let you know that. I want to let you know that I was born and raised in Gibson. I am a low-income student. I have been low-income my entire life because my father was disabled and raised children by himself. My father's mother was a school teacher at Gibson. My cousin's Mike McIntyre. He would be here tonight, and he would be speaking for Gibson. I want to let you know that I know that all of you had to take a Psych 101 class, so I just want to remind you of something. We learned 2 things in Psych 101. We learned that there's a 0 to 7 rule. Everything that you go through from 0 to 7 affects you for the rest of your life. And these children have already undergone Hurricane Ida and COVID, and this would be strike 3, and we are supposed to provide a firm foundation for our children. And then in the mighty name of Jesus, a firm foundation is right where they're at. They already have a firm foundation, and they have undergone many changes already that have been unprecedented. And these changes have happened that were out of our control. However, this change is in our control. It's in your control. And we're asking for you to please make this decision based upon our children. So you said that it would affect our children for the rest of their life. And I'm telling you, they have already gone through so much in their first 7, that 0 to 7 is an imperative time. In addition to that, Psych 101 teaches you that ergonomics. Ergonomics is the study of creating something so that it fits you, so that you're not sitting in a hard chair with a backache at the end of the day. A chair is fit for you. And we're begging you to please create a plan that is ergonomic to our children instead of making our children ergonomic to what you are doing, because they're worth it and they're not bendable in that kind of way. They've gone through so much already, and we are important. Our community is a pillar. Our school is a pillar in our community. It is a pillar of hope and light, and I thought there was a separation of church and state, so you couldn't pray, but in the mighty name of Jesus, by order of the Holy Spirit, we are asking for you to not take our pillar of light from our community. Our children need this, and we need this as a community. It holds us together, it brings us together, and every time we pass it, every single time we pass our school, it is a vision of hope. It is a vision of hope that there is more to come in the future, and we will never go back to what it was in the past. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Constance Bailey, Connie, 107 Norman Street, Gibson. I'm happy to be able to stand to speak in behalf of our community. Can you look at the words up there? In God we trust. Claude Hammer, Debbie Benoit, Matthews Ford, Roger D. Hart, Bubba Orderon, Superintendent, President, Maybelle Trahan, Dan Vozan, Mike Lagarde, Don Carters, Greg Hardin. Look at the word, in God we trust. In God, from Bayou Black to Gibson community, we putting our trust in your hand tonight. And our community is very much capable of taking on the responsibility of keeping a school in our area. First, I want you to think about demoralizing. Have any one of y'all been demoralized in any situation? Any one of y'all have to be demoralized in any situation. And when you demoralize a community, the students, the teachers, the parents, my God, what is the situation that's going to come to the other parishes that we are in? It's going to cause a problem. The problem can be rectified. You understand? Rectified, because what is going on and what has been proposed from you all, from Bubba Orderon, it can be rectified. I believe and I trust in God that I know it can be, but it's up on y'all and y'all mighty, mighty, mighty way of being on the board. You talk about three concerns: the students, the teachers, and the community. You left out the parents, which the parents is of the community. Anytime a parent have to go through a state of whatever because this child needs to be bused to another area, that is a circumstance that will allow them to be distressed, having their children distressed, bused. You know what that can cause a parent? What's going to happen with the child when he sees his parent is distressed over the area that they got to get up early in the morning? Some parents' children are sick. They cannot drive 30 miles. Some may not even have a car. You know, what an impact that is to a parent. And another thing, when we say demoralizing, it's painful. It's really painful. And as of now, I feel that this is the pain that we need to rectify. Thank you.
Janine Chauvin, 606 Willow Street, Thibodaux, a teacher at Honduras Elementary and Executive Secretary of Terrebonne Association of Educators. First, I'm going to thank Mr. Orgeron, Dr. Yarbrough, and Ms. Sandra LaRose for meeting with us and the fellow teachers to discuss this plan. First and foremost, I love my school, and I don't want it to close. I'm so proud to be a part of Honduras Elementary family. We, the students, staff, and administrators, have worked so hard in the past few years, and our progress is shown. 2 years ago, we were the only D school in the district. We have grown from a D to a C school. This past year, we've gone to a B school, having top gains 2 years in a row. As someone stated earlier, Honduras is 100% certified. I don't want it to close. I feel for every student, every parent, every person in this community that's being affected. But I'm going to take a stand as a union member for just a moment. I understand the business part. Mr. Orgeron, I understand the feasibility. I understand this has not been a quick decision. But as a union member, when we close our schools, we're Bayou Black, Gibson, and Honduras, there was a proposed 10% raise from the savings for teachers and staff. My concern is this. From the first meeting, it was a 10% that it seems to be wavered or changed. We were told that we were in the ERC meeting, received a proposed salary scale with an up-to-date 10% permanent raise that would fill in the gaps that we have not received in years as teachers, from frozen years. In our last meeting with you, Ms. Bergeron, we were informed that that may not happen in that way. The board would have to decide how we would get pay raises. Fair enough. A few days ago, I was told that there was a possibility of no pay raises to be given by somebody at a meeting. Rumors are rumors, and you take it as face value, okay? But from what I understand, in our meetings, the money saved from this consolidation will go 100% to the teachers. You want all certified teachers, and we're taking you at your word for the future of our children. But a lot of our teachers, we want to know about this. Should this proposal go through and we're getting raises, what form will it be? We were told possibly 10% stipend, which I don't like, it's not acceptable to me. 5% permanent and 5% stipend, I'm kind of okay with that. Or 10% permanent, which would be our choice. There's a lot of differences in those options. We need clarification from the many teachers that are here and principals here that have been supporting your structure plan, and we would like to see the raises. I understand, but it is for the dedication of our teachers and the love of our learning that we would like to see clarification.
Thank you.
Hello, Melanie Boudreau, 4086 Southdown Mandalay. My children, I have twins. They're in kindergarten. And one is high-functioning autistic, and one is neurotypical. However, we go to Bayou Black Elementary, and my children are known, and they know, every single teacher knows every single kid. There's not a single kid that is not greeted personally every morning by the teachers, okay? My son, who is neurodivergent, he's high-functioning, but the only reason he is doing so well is because he has absolutely amazing teachers and a great group of teachers and educators that allow him to thrive. If he goes to a bigger school with more children, he's not going to get that one-on-one individualized attention. My neurotypical child is going to be lost in the system. He's going to not have the necessary foundation that he gets at Bayou Black for it being such a small school. Our children need the I know. Our children need the support that they get from being at a small school. They really do. When it comes to our children at bigger schools are just being numbers. Now let me ask you about the numbers, okay? So the left side of Savannah is going to be going to Mulberry. Well, right behind Learett Street, DSLD Home Builders is bringing a whole new DSLD neighborhood back there. So that's going to be a lot of houses and a lot of children that's going to be moved, and they will be going to Mulberry, okay? So Mulberry is going to be overpopulated, which means what are the teachers going to do when the teachers have 20-something kids to one teacher? How are y'all going to put more teachers in the classrooms to deal with all these surplus of children? Where are you going to put this surplus of children of the homes that they're trying to build between Learett Street and Hollywood Road? What are we going to do with these children? They're just a number. At least being at $4,000. They're just a number. Our children at our small schools are being recognized by their names. They are nurtured. They are thriving. Our special education children are thriving because of it being so personal. Personal. That's all I got.
Good afternoon. My name is Evelyn Ballard, 5972 North Bayou Black Drive, Gibson, Louisiana. I just want to talk about, first I want to pass these around, okay? This is Shreveport Elementary's condition in the cafeteria. I want each one of you to pass them down and take a look at them. If you cannot fix Shreveport Elementary, why would you take our children and put them in deplorable conditions? That is the cafeteria, okay? Second of all, Mr. Bubba, don't tell me you care about my kid if my kid can't call you and tell you that they're having a problem. Okay? And I heard a lot of people come up here and tell me, oh, I think this is gonna happen. No, tell me what you know. Give me some clarity on what you know is gonna happen to our children. When they get on the bus at 6, 7 in the morning, with these high school kids who's fighting, who's bringing guns, they can't even stop that. But you wanna take some babies. You wanna take babies out of the school where they are comfortable with the teachers that are teaching them, to tell them, hey, something is not going on right at home. When they go into another area, they don't know these people. They don't know these people. They're just as shy. These are babies. These are babies who have to arrive home in the middle of the night. These aren't y'all kids. These are our children. This is deeper than money. Our kids don't have a price. We cannot be brought. If you want to raise money, if you have a money problem, fix it. Like you're fixing Shriva, show me you can fix the money problem. Shriva's cafeteria is in A1 condition for our children. I'm being sarcastic. But I need you to make it make sense. Because a lot of people is talking about money. A lot of people talking about so many other things. But and Mr. Bubba said, oh, I care about the children. Mr. Bubba, you don't know what loving our children is. We love our children. I've been going to Gibson School. I'm 45 years old. I've been at Gibson School. I didn't have a mother. I didn't have a father. It was days I could get on the bus barefoot and have teachers in this audience who cared about me. They didn't call CPS. They cared about me enough to go somewhere and find some shoes to help somebody who wanted to be educated. Okay? When I got off that bus, some of these teachers fed me. We're going to talk about compassion and love here. This ain't money. I don't care about money. I care about what happens to these children. And who are they going to run to when things are wrong at school? Because things go wrong. Mr. Bubba, are they going to come to you?
Hi, I'm Emily Cavalier. I live at 156 Lake Ocardo Avenue. I am here to speak on behalf of Schriever Elementary and all of our teachers. I just want to start off by saying that every morning all of the kids are greeted personally, whether they are getting off the bus or coming in car line. As educators, we work relentlessly to provide an inclusive and equitable learning experience for all our students each and every day. We have a large school, but years ago, our school had almost double the number of students we have now. We have about 430 students, where we had over 700 in the past. So we have the space and the knowledge to run a well-educated school with more students. As for our SPS score, we only have one grade level tested to provide our school grade. Compared to our other third grade elementary schools, we are all around the same because this is the first year the students take standardized tests.
Be courteous and listen to what she has to say.
I know other schools' grades reflect higher, but please remember they have multiple grade levels that create that school score. When making comparisons, compare only our third graders to other third graders. We are no different. We work hard to teach our students. Also, our teachers take time to build relationships and get to know each of our students in our classes. We love children. We work tirelessly every day before and after school, preparing engaging lessons to teach because we care. We would love any new student to join our school, as we have all the past days and years. We gained many children after hurricanes and COVID, and we embrace those children as our own. Once a child enters our classroom, we view them as our babies forever. If this merge occurs, we want you to know that we are here to embrace the change and will love your children. We are a community that loves and works hard. Please get involved with school and PTC events. You will see how much we love your children and want them to succeed at all levels. We meet children where they are based on specific needs to help them thrive in learning. Thank you.
My name is Gwendolyn Stevens Plaisance. My address is 612 Crescent Boulevard, Houma, Louisiana. I would just like to talk to this board for a second and let you guys know that as teachers as a whole, we are very appreciative at the idea of getting a 10% raise. Our salaries are stuck. They have been stuck for a long time. We're in a recession. We are next to the two highest paying parishes, St. Charles and Lafourche, and we lose teachers every year to those parishes. This can make the difference. I teach at Houma Junior High, proud Bulldog. We have 700 kids. I know them. My 73 children are my children, not my students. So please do not think that being moved to another school is going to be something that is necessarily bad. Change sucks. Let's leave it at that. It's hard. But guys, if we want to have the best teachers, we have to be willing to pay them. Because if not, they're going to leave. Thank you.
Order in the room.
Hi, my name is Jody Ellender. I live at 4206 Southdown Mandalay in Houma. I'm not sure how many of you got to read my email I sent out. If you didn't, there it is. My main concern is the busing. And I put that in there because I'm just a grandma, but I'm a grandma that checks into everything. My grandson is 14 years old. He goes to H.L. Bourgeois. He gets up about 5:30 in the morning. He goes outside at 5:55. He gets on the bus about 6:02, and he doesn't get to school till 6:47. Now, this is facts. I can show you on my phone. I tracked him all last week and this week. He goes to school. He doesn't get home till 2:50, I think. He is in school. He leaves the house at 6, and he does not come home until 3 o'clock. These kids, our kids that's got to go to Schriever, their bus ride's going to be longer. And no matter what superintendent says about more buses, why is this happening to my grandson? Why does he go to school at 6:02 in the morning? If Schriever lets in 30 minutes later, y'all want to put a 4-year-old on the bus at 6:30 in the morning? That's what's going to happen. He's going to tell you you're going to get more buses. Where are they? You can't help the high schools. How are you going to help these babies? How is a 4-year-old with sitting down problems, ADHD, is going to ride that bus? Did anybody think of this? Mr. Angeron wants to tell you you need all certified teachers. I get that. But my daughter at the Bayou Black meeting went to his face and told him she is not a certified medical assistant because she cannot pass the test, okay? But I guarantee you, if any of y'all got to go to CIS, you want her over an RN or an LPN. She is that good at her job. Did you ever think of that? There are certified teachers that are wonderful, and there are non-certified teachers that are wonderful. Our school system is working. We have A and B schools. Our high schools are all A and B. It's working. The money problem is not ours. We didn't make this money problem. It's y'all. Y'all approve stuff. All we're asking is to leave us alone. We have given y'all little things to do. Shut down Caldwell. I was told they all can't go to Schriever. That's a community. Y'all shut out one of our schools down. Do y'all have the right to close our community and close 3 schools? Have you done that anywhere else? Thank you.
My name is Deanna Cunningham. I live at 403 Hanson Drive. First of all, I'd like to say whatever happened to No Child Left Behind. You're not only closing, you've already closed Greenwood Middle, which none of our community knew anything about. But now you're wanting to close down our 2 elementary schools as well. There goes our property values. Y'all do not have that right. I'm sorry.
Also, I spoke to Mr. Ogeron, and I'd like to tell him, you think this works about putting 150 kids into another school that's already got 800 and something? What about bullying? Bullying is going to be more acceptable. What happens whenever they start, it's not just to say they're bullied. There goes their self-esteem. That's not just for their elementary school years. That's throughout their whole lifetime. Okay? Next is suicide. When that happens, that is all on y'all heads. Second of all, he speaks about certified teachers. These teachers have to follow a curriculum. I'm not college educated, but I can read just as well as a certified teacher. Bayou Black Elementary has, I believe, 10 certified teachers. We're doing fine. We never ask for anything. We never have. We never will. College educations for certified teachers, okay? It does not take a college education to hit nay when it's time to vote. That's how simple this is. This is about sense. You're trying to close two communities. Gibson Elementary is a community, and Bayou Black Elementary is a community. One is Ward 8, the other is Ward 9. We have millage that we pay, maintenance millage. That goes our property taxes right there. Greenwood Middle has been closed for 9 years. Where is our millage? That school has been closed for 9 years. Where is that money? Ms. LaRose wants to talk and speak and say about it's good about the ELA, the kids, the teachers teaching one subject, okay? The teachers are teaching one subject. ELA, last I heard, was one subject, okay? These kids, if they have to teach different subjects, I could understand it. But if they're teaching ELA 4th grade, ELA 5th grade, ELA 6th grade, that's pretty simple to me. Last year, all the teachers at Bayou Black Elementary left because of him crying wolf, Mr. Ogeron. He cried wolf. We lost all our teachers because they wanted to make sure they had a job. I had teachers come to us while me and
Hello, my name is Blake Dewey. I live at 201 Leona Street, Houma, Louisiana, and I have 2 children at Honduras Elementary School. Going back to the No Child Left Behind Act, that was taken out in 2016 and replaced with Every Student Must Succeed Act, which allows a lawful exemption of certain students who are deemed too disruptive for the classroom just by the teacher herself. They can say, no, you're not getting out of the car and come and learn today. And they can do that for months at a time. My thing is, Honduras Elementary has 12 kids there via affidavit because they were turned away from schools in their area being deemed too disruptive for the classroom. My first meeting with Mr. Bubba Angeron, I was told that he can guarantee that that cannot happen. A following meeting, he told if I ever experience that problem again, that I can contact Blaise Pellegrin, not him. So where are we supposed to feel trustworthy in this plan? Where are we supposed to feel secure in this plan for our children? Not to mention, I have 3 family members who work in Lafourche Parish alone, where he recently came from, proposing this exact same consolidation, and they are not thriving off of it by any means. So if we are so focused on keeping a strong community, if a lot of the things y'all say to be voted in is we have a strong sense of community, the communities are here to tell you that we don't want this plan. If the community is that strong, you should listen to them. Thank you.
My name's Taylor Uze. I live at 114 Tyos Court, Houma, Louisiana, 70360. I've been living in Bayou Black for the past 14 years. I married into it, right? My wife's born and raised Bayou Black. I was actually born and raised in Schriever, Louisiana, right? I went to Schriever, went to Caldwell. I'm not here to down those schools, by no means. They're great schools. Turned out pretty good. A little rough on the edges, but, you know, right? But what I am to say is that, you know, we all do as a community, individually, we elect y'all to hold these meetings, to be our voices, right, for our districts, all right? And y'all elect the superintendent. Now, his job as a business, right, to try to make a plan, and that's what he has done. It's y'all job to hear us as a community and be our voices, be heard for us. And as a community, we're saying we don't like this plan. Now, I tell you right now, I'm all for teachers getting raises. I love to see every teacher get 10%. But unfortunately, I can't see it at the cost of my child. Now, I do believe that instead of saying, yeah, we're going to do this, let's say, yeah, let's come back to this. Let's go back to the drawing board. Because I forget her name. She said, we're all about collaboration. When we have a problem, we collaborate, talk about it, find the best solutions for individual needs. I think that's what we need to do. Let's look at a different solution. Why do we only have one solution in place? It's either we shut these 3 schools down or our teachers don't get a raise. That's not fair to our community nor our teachers, right? Whereas local school board members are committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners and that the best education is tailored to the individual needs of the child. Let's look to see what's the best solution for the individual needs of the children directly affected by these schools. And who better to speak for our children than their parents? And we're speaking. We want y'all to hear us. Please just, let's a couple different solutions. Let's try to find something that works for everybody. Works for y'all, works for the community, and works for the teachers. Teachers get a raise, everybody in the community is happy, right? And that y'all show y'all saved money. Y'all bringing more revenue in, because that's your job. I get that. It's a business. No matter how much we want to say it, end of the day, government's a business. School board's part of the government, so I get it. But we got to do what's right for the community. And we're speaking. Just please hear us. Thank y'all.
Do we have anyone else from the public? Thank you. Going back to where we were, we had a motion, we had a motion by Mr. Ford, second by Mr. Crowders. Mr. Ford, do you have any statement?
I have plenty. Get yourself ready. All right. First and foremost, I don't think anyone in here is contesting the benefits of consolidation or community or how much money we would end up saving by closing these 3 schools. What was presented tonight is not reflective of what's on this agenda item. I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys come and take part of this process, especially you teachers and other employees, but I fear you've all been misled. We are not here discussing any pay raises, nor are we discussing any agenda item that would lead up to a pay raise. The agenda item says specifically the closing of 3 schools, but everyone I've heard up here talks about consolidation. I have an idea. I'm going to get to it in a minute. What we're talking about here is a community matter. It's the idea of closing a historical community landmark, a meeting place, a place for, and I'm going to give you a list of names that I know. When I hear this name, I know they're from Bayou Black or Gibson. The Ruffins, the Stewarts, the Stevensons, the Coxes, the Shorts, the Johnsons, the Antilles, even the A-Bears, the Bros, and the Trahans. The founding members of Bayou Black community were A-Bears, Bros, and Trahans. And Blanchards too, I don't want to leave them out. To those of you that reach out to me, especially those employees, thank you for reaching out to me. But you don't need to educate me. I don't go into your school and tell you how to teach. Don't email me and tell me how to sit on this board. I'm here representing the people that put me here. It just so happens I'm an educator. Some of these people haven't been educators for a while, but they're all educators too. They don't need you emailing us, telling us what we should do here and who we should listen to. We already have a constituency of over 9,000 voters that we're listening to. The first problem we have with this agenda item is that this topic has not yet gone to committee. Usually we have a process. Something goes to committee, we discuss it, and then if it flies through committee, it goes to the board. Then we discuss it some more. Usually the discussion isn't quite as robust because a lot of that happened during committee, but we didn't have that opportunity here today. So that's the number one problem. The fact that you guys are letting yourself become pawns in this game of politics. Everyone up here is responsible. Everyone up here is guilty of it. The fact is, this is a great restructuring plan. We haven't discussed that. We're not voting on that. We're voting on something that may be a portion of it, but we're not voting to approve that restructuring plan. And then, on top of that, we keep referring back to these teacher raises. Well, last I checked, it would take all, or at least 5 of the 9 board members to approve a pay raise. And we don't have to have a restructuring plan to put one forth. I've put it forth 5 different times, and it didn't get through committee. I'll do number 6 if I have to. We don't have to do something like this. This is a quid pro quo. We don't have to compromise and give up something to get something. Teachers, we're going to take care of you. I've been trying since day one. I fear taking this school away from Bayou Black, away from Gibson, and even to some degree Honduras. I love the Honduras school. The location is kind of bad, right? High traffic area, a lot of stuff going on in that region, but we'll get to that. But when you take away these schools, in some cases, the only thing they have in the community. Dollar General made it out there in the last 10 years, but who knows what's going to happen to Dollar General. This is a school. This is a gathering place. This is the heart of the community. I've been sitting on this board for 5 years. Every time I get the opportunity, I tell you about how we built communities around schools. We didn't build schools for communities. We need to keep our communities together, because what happens when you close these schools is you let the darkness in. And when the darkness comes in, the light has no way to go. The light goes away. Can't bring that light back. I'm sorry. Gibson, Bayou Black, Honduras means more to us than that $4,015 for every student that's provided. I'm sorry. I have a substitute motion that I plan on presenting once everyone else has talked. I'm going to wait, let them talk. But I do have a substitute motion because I feel like this is important. And the last gentleman that spoke,
Stan.
Point
of order.
No. This man took 20 minutes to present his restructuring plan.
This board has adopted Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order clearly says that the maker of a motion cannot speak against it.
So let me comment on that, and then I'll be done, because I think I've said enough. I can count probably 30 or 40 times when we've had motions on this board, and some board members would say, move for discussion, and they were still in opposition of the motion. So I'm going to go back. Since you guys are pulling this one on me, trust me, I'm going to go back. And we're going to, I'm going to go back, and we're going to pull them all up.
No one's pulling anything on you.
Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
You made the motion, but you're clearly speaking against it, and that it's clearly not allowed by Robert's Rules.
I'm clearly opposed to it. Thank you.
But you can't do that. Robert's Rules of Order, which the board has adopted, clearly provides that.
That's fine. I will go back and look at the others.
Motion to discuss.
sir.
I'd like to ask the secretary to read what Mr. Ford's motion was. I thought it was to discuss it. I didn't know if it was for or against. I'm just trying to clarify.
He moved the
Oh, he
agenda
did?
item.
Thank you for the correction, and I just want to clarify that to continue.
All right, a person who seconded the motion was Mr. Voisin.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight, showing your passion for your community.
No, it was Mr. Crowder.
No, it wasn't him.
No,
It was me.
Voisin.
It was.
Were you the,
I have-
did you second it,
I
Mr.
said
Crowder?
it, but I think you.
Yeah, I have Mr. Ford, seconded by Mr. Crowder.
Okay.
All right, then, Mr. Crowder.
Go ahead. I want to talk after.
Mr. Crowder. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. So there's an extreme amount of passion on both sides, obviously. You know, we've heard a lot tonight from the opposition side. I can tell you as a school board member over the last couple of weeks or so, I've heard opinions on both sides. I've heard people phone calls, text messages, emails from people giving opinions with valid reasons for their opinions. So then the question comes, what do you do in that situation? Right? You've got voices on both sides. Okay? They're looking, both people are looking through the same pane of glass. One person's looking from the side of glass, looking out this direction. Another person's looking on the other side, looking in this direction. They're both looking through the same pane of glass, but they're both seeing different things. Prior to becoming a board member, I sat in coffee shops, I sat in restaurants, I sat in friends' homes, listening. I've been in Terrebonne Parish I'm not an original Terrebonne Parish member, but I've been here since the military, service in the military. I've been here over 30 years. I've listened to the community talk about Terrebonne Parish and that things need to change in Terrebonne Parish to better the education system. We need to figure out ways how to get teachers into Terrebonne Parish so that we can educate our kids so that they can move on. We need to figure out ways how to give raises to teachers that are sorely needed. I got on the school board and I learned about this task force plan. I looked at the task force plan, said that seems like a fairly decent plan. So then, you've got all these questions, people wanting these answers, people wanting a better Terrebonne Parish. Well, this is a plan that when implemented improves the system for the parish as a whole. I just want to read some numbers, okay? I just want to read some numbers. First, I'm going to start internationally, and then I'm going to come down locally. On the last international exams, the United States of America placed 13th in reading literacy among 60 different nations in the world. That same 2018 assessment, United States ranked 37th in the world in mathematics. We ranked 18th in the world in science. Here's a 2017-2018 article from Brookings Institute where they talked to foreign exchange students who came from different countries to the United States. 89% of those foreign exchange students says America's education system isn't all that great. Vice versa, we've had American students go to the other countries and say, theirs seems to be working much better. Now on a local level, these are the statistics for Terrebonne Parish. 66% of our kids cannot score 50% proficiency on the 4th and 8th grade LEAP tests. 50%. When I was in school, 50% was a flat F. And we've got 2/3 of our kids that can't even reach 50% on the 4th and 8th grade LEAP tests. Only 1/3 of our kids in Terrebonne Parish are making that score. So the question is what do we do? Superintendent Orgeron has put forth a plan. He's put forth a plan. It is a plan. It is a plan. He is putting forth a plan that will put the best teachers in the classrooms for your kids. So when he talks about loving the kids and being for the students, you can love kids in more than one way. You can provide them with the best educators. You can provide a situation where the best educators are going to want to come to your parish to teach your kids. That's part of what this plan talks about. The other part of this plan talks about what do we do with college and career. I hear college and career all the time. College and career. Well, what makes somebody college and career ready? Is it not a strong foundation in mathematics? Is it not a strong foundation in science? Is it not a strong foundation in being able to read, being able to write, being able to comprehend? That's what we're going to focus on. We've got to get our kids prepared because the last time I checked, whether you're a plumber or whether you're a neurosurgeon, you've got to know math. Whether you're an electrician or whether you're a welder, you've got to know math. You've got to know how to read directions. Our education system in Terrebonne Parish has to improve. This is a plan that improves the educational system for the parish as a whole.
Mr. Wazir.
Mr. Crowders, that was awesome. I don't know how to follow that, but again, thank you for being here tonight and your passion. And we all love our kids. I mean, our kids are our life. And that's what the most important thing, we have to keep in mind. And again, with the plan, I think it does encompass all of that. I hear you guys coming up saying things like, I'm at a small school. Our teachers know who we are. Our teachers are personal. What's going to be different if they go to a bigger school? There are more people to love you kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. All kids are important to all the teachers. I consider myself lucky. I taught in a high school, because what Miss LaRose said, something also that struck. I had 2 preps. That was great. Some teachers had 3 and 4 and 5 preps. In high school, typically you get 2 to 3 preps. In elementary school, if a teacher has to teach all levels, there's so many preps they can't be as effective. So that's part of that plan. Also talking about the last couple of years, one of the local high schools lost 3 outstanding teachers. Why? Because of pay. They went to St. Charles Parish. And that's just one local high school that I know of. And if we don't make any changes, we're going to continue to lose these people, these very qualified people. We just have to remember as a board, we all have to be fiscally responsible for every child. Every child. Every community is important, but every community makes up the whole parish. And we have to consider everyone. Change is difficult. It's very difficult. I'm a resident from Chauvin, Louisiana, the Bayou. like a lot of you guys are from the Bayou. I lived there most of my life. And I remember in my time being there, I wasn't on the board, but there were 3 schools closed. 3 schools have closed just down Chauvin. So, you know, it happens. And of course, the communities did not want it. But they survived, and they're much better now. They moved to a bigger school. A couple of years ago, we had to close a school in the Punisher area. Again, they didn't want it. The numbers at the schools, we need to have the numbers to have a school that it's best for all the students and the teachers to collaborate. Again, change is difficult. It'd be great if we had money growing on trees, okay? But unfortunately, we do not. So we have to be unique with this. It's the plan. I don't know how it's going to go tonight, but God help us.
Any other board members?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. DeHart?
I hope y'all packing a lunch. I want to thank everyone for coming out and speaking their mind, but I must say one thing very important. I've been on this board a long time. I'm just finishing 33 years. I came here in the early 90s. Academics was very low. I didn't blame nobody. We roll up our sleeves and work together as a board with 15 members.
Mr. DeHart, if I may turn your mic on, please, so that...
It is on.
It is?
Yes, ma'am. You don't
He
get a
can't
light?
hear you.
You can't hear me?
Mr. Chris can't hear you.
Can you pull it a little closer?
I'll bring it a little closer. How's that? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I was involved in many, many problems, and we've succeeded. Because right here, what I'm showing right here, I got this from staff. It was part of my research because I had to hear it from the phone on the proposal that was given to the principals, and the parents is the one who called me. I have always felt I represent Terrebonne Parish, not just where I was elected. I worked with, this is my 7th superintendent, and I respect all of them. But I can tell you, out of all 7 superintendents, one gentleman said to me last meeting, Mr. DeHart, you're the most demanding board member that I've ever had to work with. But I've enjoyed it because it was for the kids. It wasn't for you. I'm very fortunate to say that I'm termed out after this term. There's a couple others on the board that's going to be termed out. But I have enjoyed the progress we've made over the years. And I didn't do it. Our teachers, administrators, and our staff work together with the board. What I want to say to you today is that it's not just what y'all said about the communities. I'm a community-oriented person. But the thing that drives me the most is the academic success. And a previous board member said one thing very correct. I was going to bring it up about the LEAP. Kids, whenever they have to take a big test, feel pressure. You put a kid in pressure, they don't make the right decision sometimes. They panic. And listen, instead of skipping something if they hesitant on something, we always try and tell them, even on the exit exam for a senior graduating, skip it and come back to it, because if you don't answer it, it's considered wrong. So we all make choices. The choice I made to sit on this board is to make sure the academic success is there. I'm going to tell y'all that no matter what y'all believe about what I'm saying, PT ratio is very important to me. We have a governance from the state of Louisiana. But I want to make a comment, just like we all have our difference of opinion. Right now, the state of Louisiana is short certified teachers. I know that to be fact. But at the same time, people that's in the school system right now, once they retire and leave the system, they can't come back to work for us, and we lose a valuable person. I'm hoping legislature hears my call because I've been working with some legislators right now to see if there's anything that can be done. I'm not here to change the retirement system I just want to have the value that all the private sector have. I'm not complaining that they went to the private sector, but we have some private schools in Terrebonne Parish right now that have most of our retired teachers that missed the job and was dedicated to educating. And all I'm saying to you that I'm very proud to say those teachers that retired could have came back for us, but there was a limit or you had to freeze your retirement. I'm not no expert on retirement, but I'm going to be very brief on this. Whenever they left the public system and went to the private sector, they can make a full salary because they're not in the retirement system. All I'm saying, there's some value. So if you want to fix the teacher problem, there maybe are some other options. And I can see somebody out in the audience shaking their head, but I got news for you. The ones that's shaking their head, I've seen some good things, and I've seen some things that should have been done that wasn't done. So I look at all of us. We're all to blame if we can't fix a problem. And all I'm going to say to you that the 3 schools that we're talking about, I saw the academic success. I've been visiting those schools, not just because of this issue. And I'm telling you right now, dedicated people are doing a good job. And the certified people is helping get the other people that are not certified or somebody brand new out of college with the experience and the knowledge. There's a value to that. I hope that never stops. I'm be off the board in 3 years. If I live that long, guess what? I'm telling you right now that I'm very happy to say we're on the right track. Now, I'm not here to criticize the superintendent, but I felt really and truly that me as a board member, and I respect the Chamber of Commerce ultimately, because they are business partners with everybody, but they also partners with us. But they knew more about this than I knew. And listen, I'm telling you right now, if I missed something, I blame myself. But at the same time, the Chamber of Commerce is there about businesses. I'm there about educating children. And all I'm trying to say to you is that I'm looking at, comment was made about St. Charles Parish. They are very wealthy. I'm jealous of them. That Mississippi River, I wish we had that instead of the intercoastal or the navigational canal, because they get a lot of revenues and it gets put toward education. So what I'm also saying is that years ago, under the second superintendent I served, the state wanted to close SEC down. Just to show you my passion, I served as a vice president and then president in that era. I'm telling you right now, we fought the state and we didn't close that place down because those children deserve everything we can provide for them. So all I'm saying to you is that I really believe closing those schools down because of numbers, and I want to clarify some numbers, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong because I've made mistakes before. By Black, I took 3-year comparison, and so it's not just Hurricane Ida or people leaving. They had 175 students in 2021 in the start of the year. Toward the end of the year, they had 183. They gained a couple. The following year, 2022, 2023, in the beginning, they had 175 students. They have 140. Yes, that's a little bit less. But you look at the grades, and like I said, we bragged about how good they were doing. Those people are a team. Every school I ever saw with people leaving, I knew there was something wrong as a board member. I can't get into personnel matters. That might be by choice. It might be because of, rumors they hear. That's why I don't like to do Facebook. But okay, I'm going to take Gibson Elementary because I know a lot of you here is from Gibson. In the 2021, 2022, had 127 students. And I got that off of data from the school board. Then they went to 137 at the end of the year, so it gained 10 students. Gibson Elementary, 2022, 2023, in the beginning had 127. Right now, I have 158. I got the data today, so it's current. That's the attendance today. Now, Honduras Elementary, in 2021, 2022, they had 301 students. That was at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, you had 298, very stable. So to me, something was working, people stayed there. Then the next year, 2022, 2023, 244. Guess what? Honduras has 259. I remember a long time ago with a principal that asked me for some help because I was visiting just to see how things were going there. They had a library with a little court. I was a person that volunteered to help them, and another board members helped too. But we got a library for that school, and it flourished. Academics, and I'm not joking. And then academics was fair, no matter where the children were from, no matter how many they had, they were successful. Saying that, all three schools are B schools, all of them. And all I'm saying to you that I'm so proud today to say, and it's not just about the closure of schools or consolidation, every one of our schools in Terrebonne Parish, none of them are a D or an F school. That is a monumental thing for me that I'm very proud to be serving on this board with all of these people that are serving with now. And all I'm going to do in closing is that I am totally against closing the schools because of numbers. I'm here for kids. If we have a financial problem, which right now I got a copy of the audit, and it's in this briefcase. Our audit is substantial, sound. Our staff is doing a good thing on managing money in this board, and we're adopting budgets. We review budgets. And all I'm saying to you that I believe if there's a need, we can put our heads together, not work separately, but share that through the committee process. Share that with all of the board members. And look, we're going to have different ideas, or we're going to come up with different suggestions. If something we try don't work, it's our job to make it better. It's our job to work with the superintendent or to say, I disagree with your plan. And today, I disagree. Thank you.
Mr. Harry.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Trahan. Again, I would like to thank the public for coming out tonight to discuss this very important issue that we have before us. It's not always easy to make decisions. I looked at this petition list that was brought to me, and I know most of the people on that list. I guess you can say the reason why I know most of the people on the list because I represent the Gibson area. I was elected to represent you, regardless of how I feel about the plan, personally. I feel that my vote needs to be cast with you. I want to be a voice for you. I am your voice. But also, my personal opinion is that I think the superintendent and his staff have put forth a plan, personally, that's trying to do something was best for the system as a whole. You might not agree with that. You might not agree with that, and that's okay. It's okay to disagree, not to disagree. I ain't got no problem with that. But me as a school board representative, I know all the inner workings, I know all the numbers. Personally, I think it's a good plan, but guess what? I represent you. So I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to stand with you. But I don't think, and this is me, I might be stepping on a limb, but I don't think that the criticism that he's receiving is fair. He's a superintendent. Listen, he's a superintendent. He is a superintendent. He's doing what he thinks is best for the district as a whole. And I can sit here and say that and not support him because I feel that way. I feel that way. Now, what he is doing, what he's trying to do, what we all don't want to hear, okay? He's trying to circumvent things so that, can you all want to give teachers pay raises? Okay, one of the easiest way to do it, you can go to Texas right now and pay higher taxes. You want to pay higher taxes? This is a way of not paying higher taxes. This is what he's doing. I'm just trying to give you an example. Will you agree with it or disagree with it? This is what he's trying to do, and this is what his staff's trying to do. We're always hollering about paying teachers more. Where the money going to come from? Got to come from somewhere. It got to come somewhere. So I just wanted to let you know, I just want to go on record. I just want to go on record saying that my personal feelings, I separate that because I represent District 2, and that's part of Gibson and Bayou Black. So I'm not going to support this motion or support this plan tonight.
Ms. Lagarde.
I would like to thank y'all for coming out, and it's been a hard decision. I done got a lot of phone calls, but I want to let you know something. If everybody know in this room that I've been fighting this for 30 years, not just on this board. I've been in the community fighting, and District 1 don't have a school. I don't have a school in my community. Mechanicville don't have a school. Now, we go to schools, and Oaklawn, my kids go to Oaklawn, but Oaklawn not in my community. Village East is not in my community, you know, so we go to schools, and we go to schools that some communities didn't want us in and still don't want us in. But as a whole for this parish, I have to look at the achievement gaps of my students, and guess what? My students who I represent, because the schools they are at, the achievement gaps are behind. And that's something we must address. Everybody want their kid to leave and do good and go to college, but do you know where your kids' achievement gaps at? Do you know when they graduate, where they get into college, where they get into VOTEC? That school may be an A, but is your kid an A? And teachers, we do want you to have a raise. I want you to have a raise, you know, but if you are a great teacher, you can teach anywhere. Now, sometimes we as teachers, we get accustomed and used to one place. It'll be great if we could spend all our career at one place. You know, I always said, you know, those A schools, well, why, before I was on the board, why can't we move those teachers from A schools to Oaklawn, to Village East, if they're that good? But guess what? It's never happened. Then I also suggested, why don't we send our kids to those A schools on this board, and that didn't happen. But guys, you know, I'm sorry, change gonna happen. Our kids gonna change. They're gonna go to different schools. They're gonna graduate. We're gonna end up at the same high schools. And I understand about the community that you feel comfortable in your community. I feel comfortable in my community, but guess what? None of me or my kids had a school to go to in their community. None of them. And they're unfortunate, the schools they went to wasn't A schools or B schools. My sons graduated from a B school because when he went to Eleanor, Mr. Butler, with all that work, the school became a B. But before that, every school they had was a C or D school. And we had to work hard to make them graduate high school and college. But guys, whatever happened tonight, like I told the people down in Great County, you be with your kids wherever they at. Because remember, at the end of the day, we one parish. Now, if we want to be divided by communities, that's going to set us back. I wish we could have well, I'm not divided by communities because I fight for every kid, you know. Now, I would love for my kids to have community schools, but as a whole, let me tell you another thing. If we lose certified teachers, you're going to lose your school in a few years. If we don't have the certified teachers or we don't have the money, what you think going to happen in 3 to 5 years? You won't have a school, period. So this fight will be mute. I understand you want it, but guess what? As a whole, now, we may be divided by community, but guess what? We Terrebonne Parish as a whole, and that's what we have to look at. You know, and unfortunate, you know, I'm in a worse position than any of y'all. I sat on this board, but my wife's school is on the chopping block. As the young kids say, I got to sleep with the op. That's what the young kids say. I got to sleep with the op. But unfortunate, that can't, you know, I have to do what my constituents want to do, and all of my constituents, I done got calls, but at the end of the day, they're like, look, we want better schools for our kids. I don't care where they at, I want a better school, because Terrebonne Parish is not that big where they can't go. Also, I would like to have a raise. I would like to make more money, because guess what? St. Charles, Jefferson Parish, all these other parishes are paying, and our teachers are leaving, and they are going to these parishes. And that is not a bad drive. So if you want better schools and you want this, I'm telling you, they are leaving. So, and I hope because of how we vote tonight, we don't become enemies. Because, you know, I've been hearing if you vote this way, I'm going to do this, or you vote that way, I'm going to do this. All I got to say, guys, when you represent kids, you're for kids, and you don't worry about the rest. And I think we all believe in that, what's up there. I know I do. So if you think I don't because I don't vote your way, maybe you need to look at that again. Thank you.
Ms. Benoit.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Trahan.
Order in the room.
You know, this is a really difficult situation, and if you look at one side, you look at the parents that have talked tonight, and thank you for coming and sharing your opinions tonight, then you're for the parents. If you look at what our administration came and presented in front of us tonight, then you're for what the administration says. And you understand that the way that they presented it, they're for the kids, and it's going to make the kids better. So you know, both sides, if you just look at one side, you're for that side, that one side. But you have to look at it holistically. And the way that I see it, and I think one of the parents said it tonight, that we're in this situation not by our own doing. If we were 5 years ago, we wouldn't probably be in this situation. I think the hurricane did a lot of damage for us. It migrated people and shifted populations, and that's why we have less students in our school. But I think the number one issue that we had that has done most damage is COVID, that gave us the achievement gap. And that's what we're dealing with primarily, is the achievement gap. And if you listen to what administration said tonight and how building bigger, better schools, having more shared resources, having more communication amongst teachers and sharing of ideas, that's for the kids. And if we don't do something, because this is desperate, we have to do something different than what we've done before. If we continue to do the same thing, that gap that the kids received through COVID is going to just widen more. So I just don't see how we can continue to do the same thing that we're doing and expect different results. We have to look at a new plan. If the plan doesn't work after a couple of years, then we'll have to look at something else, but we have to give it a chance. Thank you.
Order in the room.
I call for question.
Thank
If
you.
everybody's finished, I call for a vote.
Mr.
I just have one last comment, and this is not in opposition or in favor, but I just want to remind everyone that we are only voting on what the matter is at hand. We can't do so with this pie in the sky dream that we're going to have everyone getting raises and everyone's going to be at A school, A student. We are voting strictly on what is in this recommendation. Everything else to that is subsequent. It may be secondary, but we can't guarantee anything beyond what we're voting on right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a call for the question, which means it's a motion to have an immediate vote. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second. Do I have any public comment? Do I have any objections?
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote has been called for.
Need to make sure exactly, I know we had a lot of discussion, a lot of people said things, so we're voting, yes vote will be to support the recommendation, and a no vote will be opposed to the
On the
recommendation.
recommendation on the agenda, yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure we understand that.
All votes are in. 3 objections, Mr. Dehart, Mr. Ford, and Mr. Harding, absent none. The final vote is 6 yeas, 3 nays.
And the recommendation passes. Excuse me, quiet in the room. It means that the recommendation as read on the agenda has passed.
So that means this is a definite, you are closing our schools?
We are consolidating the schools, yes, ma'am.
Dr. Troha, may I ask for a recess? Dr. Troha, may I ask for a recess?
Yes, sir. No, I have a member here who's calling for a recess. Do we have a second?
Second by Deborah.
Do we have any
Deborah,
objections? One,
Wait,
2 objections?
wait, who moved it to recess? Who seconded?
Deborah.
Who objected?
Yes.
Let him clear out.
Who objected?
As president, we are
Mr.
standing in
Ford and
recess
Mr.
until the call of the chair.
Yes, I got more information. No, I didn't. I just said, when I listened to the parents, I supported the parents.
Yeah, I got up twice.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. All I'm telling you right now, hey,
We'll call this meeting back to order. The meeting is called back to order. If you're not staying for the remainder of the meeting and the rest of the agenda items, we please ask you to clear the room. Okay. Yes, sir. Will do. We are now on item number 3 of the superintendent's agenda.
Okay, number 3 is consideration of the approval of bid received for the building repair project at Elysian Fields. The recommendation is that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the building repair project in response to Hurricane Ida at Elysian Fields from Delcon LLC, P.O. Box 916, Berwick, Louisiana 70342, in the amount of $22,000, and established a total project budget in the amount of $222,000, and established a total project budget in the amount of $249,433.22. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $22,489.90, and local funds, $24,942.32, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
Moved by whom? Mr.
Mr.
DeHart,
DeHart.
second by Mr. Wazan. Any public comment? Mr. DeHart.
One correction. The superintendent said 222,000 is 224,000. I know it was just an error.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wazan. Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Item number 4.
Personnel section, leaves of absence, family and medical leaves. The recommendation is that the board approve a family and medical leave in accordance with policy file F-11.4A for Joanne M. Chrisley, school food service technician at Acadian Elementary School, beginning November 8th, 2023 through February 29th, 2024, medical.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hamner,
Second.
second by Mr. DeHart. Any public comment? Mr. Hamner.
None.
Mr. DeHart.
No, ma'am.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Next recommendation is that the board approve a family and medical leave in accordance with policy file F-11.4A for Ashlyn J. Bajeron, school food service technician at Grand Caillou Middle School, beginning December 7th, 2023 through March 22nd, 2024, medical.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. DeHart, second by Mr. Hamner. Any public comment? Mr. DeHart.
No, ma'am. Thank
Mr.
you.
Hamner.
None.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Next recommendation is that the board approve a family and medical leave in accordance with policy file F-11.4A for Nicole L. Robertson, custodian at Ellender Memorial High School, beginning December 15th, 2023 through March 22, 2024, medical.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. DeHart, second by Mr. Voisin. Any public comment? Mr. DeHart?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Voisin? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Next recommendation is that the board approve a family and medical leave in accordance with policy file F-11.4A for Gene P. Martin, school bus operator in the Transportation Department, beginning January 4th, 2024 through February 20th, 2024, medical.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hamner, second by Mr. Voisin. Any public comment? Mr. Hamner?
None.
Mr. Voisin? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
The next recommendation is that the board approve a family and medical leave in accordance with policy file F-11.4A for Ruth Celestine, teacher at Terrebonne High School, beginning October 23rd, 2023 through December 4th, 2023, medical.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. DeHart. Second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Mr. DeHart?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Benoit?
No, ma'am.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
And finally, board members, provided for you are personnel actions for the period of October 22nd, 2023 through November 24th, 2023. This is for information only.
Thank you, Mr. Ogeron. Item number 9, individual board member, Ms. Benoit's legislative update? We
No
don't have one
updates tonight, thank you.
I've been asked by Board Member Mr. Hamlin to be recognized before adjournment. Mr. Hamlin.
Superintendent Orgeron would like to place on the next Finance Committee agenda on December 19th, a proposal from you regarding a employee pay raise.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Being no further business to come before the Terrebonne Parish School Board on this agenda, the meeting is now adjourned.
Thank God.
It's adjourned.